Have you ever been married?
Yeah, I was married for 8 years.
And why did you pick her, and why did it not work, and why have you never been married again?
Why did I pick her?
Did she pick you, or did you pick her?
She picked me, but I married her. I don't know. I mean, like she.
I think that's a really interesting point about our culture, which is like most species, the females pick the males, and the males like watch whatever birds or whatever it is. The birds do the little dance, and the females are like, not so much.
Right.
But
I like your dance. You're the one.
Exactly.
Right.
But we have this weird system where it's kind of both
birds
at the
can't
same.
talk, right? And that's about it for their terms of like ability to impress.
Right.
But a dance would be nice.
I mean, we apparently have a dancer here. Yeah.
I've put it on you.
7-time
that guy.
Exotic dancer.
That guy.
Correct?
I'm gonna pick that. Well, it's funny because she was young. Like when I was stripping, she was 16 or 17, and she saw a flyer with me on it, and she said, "I'm gonna get that guy." I hadn't even known her. Right. And then she kind of tracked me down. I met her when she was like 21, 22.
Right.
And I don't remember how much older I was than her. I was a few years older than her. And she basically had her decision, like this was the guy I was going to get. Wow. And she chased me until I caught her, you know. Right. And then when we got married, it was...
Are you doing selfies?
I'm getting everyone, so I get myself in. Sorry. It's not I got everyone, and I have to get at least one or two of mine. Sorry.
What happened was, I just realized, I felt at one time, this is the woman I'm going to be with. Like, I can't see myself in my life without her, and then I married her. That was
right. But it only lasted for 8 years. How come?
There's a lot that I've learned since then because of that. It was part of the stuff. A lot of stuff that I talk about in the show now is one of the things is attraction happens not when you do something for somebody else, but when they do it for you. Their attraction is based on your ability to do things for them because you give them purpose in the context of your life. So it's almost like you give them meaning in the context of your life. And I was so independent that I just, she didn't have to do anything for me.
Right.
And as I started doing comedy, when I started doing comedy, I didn't know anything. And I was like, is this funny? And she was very much a part of it. And as I got funnier, her opinion didn't matter, not because her opinion didn't matter in life, it just didn't matter in comedy, because I knew more about comedy than she knew, and so I stopped asking.
Right.
And then she wanted to go to school, and I was like, sure, I'll pay for you to go to school, and she could go to school, and she kind of had, and I helped her study, I helped her get her associate's, her master's degree, I helped her write her papers, I was involved in that, but she wasn't involved in my life. And I didn't mind. I just figured as a good husband, your wife wants to do things, you support her.
Right.
Right.
But there has to be something that you ask your wife to do for you that is part of the marriage in the context of and we just didn't have that. And I was so independent that she just didn't have meaning in the context of my life, which is what ultimately created the wedge between us.
So, and then how did you adjust that for future relationships so that somebody feels needed?
I involve them in my life. Even if I have to create something to involve them in my life, I involve them in my life.
It's hard as comedians because we're
so independent.
We work alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you're
ladies
just
and gentlemen, give it up for Caroline Rhea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Caroline Rhea and her boyfriend.
Right. Because the worst thing is when you're in a press line and they're like going, Caroline, and like I had my boyfriend who I was engaged to, I loved. He was the sweetest, kindest man. They'd be like, Caroline and Bob, and then they'd be like, just Caroline, as if I'm gonna like faceplant Bob and go like, okay, done with you.
Right.
But it's such a loner sport.
Yeah.
You have to be with somebody who's really strong, who is very capable and able to say,
and I think
they're not going to talk to you. They're going to talk to me, and it's awful.
Right. And I think saying that is important, but also making them important in the context of your life. Saying, gosh, this is so, I mean, because we deal with rejection on so many levels. To say that your importance in my life, you're important because you help me recharge my battery. You make me
Right.
almost invincible, that I can take this rejection and all this stuff. And them understanding that, I think sometimes understanding that and knowing that that comes from you is real to them.
Right.
And then they get it.
So now what I realize is you should really start with couples counseling, be in it for about 6 months.
Go in it from the very beginning.
And then date. Because you really, that's the drag, is that the person you're most attracted to at a party, you should absolutely run screaming the minute you see them, because they have more of the crappy stuff that you have. And it's that, I really think that crazy, insane
now I
attraction
realize the
is
first day I met
familiarity.
you,
There you go.
ran out of the club.
That's
I'm like,
it.
fuck.
That's it. There you go.